Hello, it's your boy MrCV. I'm back with another special video, and I'm back on my Wahala Wednesday. Hello, it's your boy MrCV. I'm back on another special video for you and on my Wahala Wednesday. And guess who's back? CV's back. Tell your friends. Hey, hello, it's your boy MrCV. I'm back on my Wahala Wednesday, a place where all your problems can be solved, and also a place where if you have any issues, if you have any problems, make sure you send it to my email, which is in the description, and also make sure you tell me, and I'll try and keep it as discreet as possible to be able to give my thoughts and opinion. Now, not everything I say, not all my thoughts and opinion are facts. They're just things that I feel and how I would respond to this situation. Some of the situations I present to you are from myself, but then also they're from other people through things I hear, things I've listened to, and also people calling me in general and telling me these are some of the things they're passing through. And I feel as a source of lesson to other people, I feel like I can share it. Also, a lot of the times I just ask them for permission as well to be able to share it. But like I said, let's keep it as discreet as possible. Today, I've got interesting scenarios and problems for you, so please stay tuned. Also as well, like I always say on my channel, on this special edition of Wahala Wednesday, while I know they finish, which means there's always problems in this world, and problem never finishes. As soon as you finish one problem, you jump straight to another problem. As soon as you finish that problem, you jump straight to another problem. So problems is a continuous conundrum in life. So, and it just keeps going and keeps going. And the more money you have, some people say the more problems. The more successful you become, some people say it's more problems. So you start asking yourself, do you want more money and not more problems? Or do you just want to remain where you are and keep the problems that you have? Even if you remain where you are, you still get problems. So listen, you just have to find a way to maturely manage some of these problems. And a lot of things in life as well is not about how it affects you, but it's mostly how you manage a lot of these things. Your management of some of these problems you face will show people how truly strong you are. So that's it. And like I always say as well, let me not forget, in case people don't know, in Yoruba, that's how you pronounce it properly. In Yoruba, we say Wahala no dey finish. We don't say that. Sorry. My bad. In Yoruba, we say Wahala ti poju, which means there's too much problems. So listen, let's go straight into today's scenarios and today's problem, and let's jump right in. So first problem for you. My guy invited me to his country to visit his family. He booked a fancy hotel and many things. Upon getting there, he said he had no money and I had to pay 3,000 and cover everything. A week later, he dumped me. Until today, I still haven't got my money back. I have been giving this guy money from the start of our relationship. What should I do? Damn. Wow. Problem. Listen, when it comes to these type of problems, especially obviously giving money and stuff, when it comes to giving money, especially in a relationship, I feel somehow about it for me personally. But one thing I do always say is, whoever I'm in a relationship with, I feel we're here to support each other, and I always stand by that. And for me, asking for money from my partner, that's most of the time is like, if I really need it. Most of the time I just like to do it myself, but if I really need it, I feel that's where obviously my partner comes in, where she's able to support me. Now, if you're booking fancy hotels, booking a lot of fancy things, and trust me, a lot of us will feel under pressure because obviously you're trying to impress a girl, so you book this fancy thing knowing financially you'll be hit, knowing financially that's a financial suicide on you. So knowing those things, trust me, sometimes it's just better to be honest. And I think one thing one of my friends always told me is that, look, sometimes when you're in a relationship, you have to be honest about certain things. You have to be honest about your finances, so that some people don't put unnecessary, unrealistic expectations on yourself. But in this situation, Let me just go through it quickly. In this situation where the girl has said, after the guy's booking the fancy hotel, he now had to cover everything. After the guys booked the fancy hotel, she now had to cover everything in her money, and obviously it's costing her over 3,000. Wow. First of all, me personally, I will not invite any girl to my family unless I know we're very, very serious like that. Because the last thing I want is to invite them to my family and then a week later or a month later we say, oh, we've broken up, and just look somehow. And I don't want that instability and imbalance in my family. And also another thing as well, he's dumped her until today. He hasn't given her the money. For me, obviously everybody's different, but for me personally, from the start of the relationship, if the guy is always asking for money, to borrow you money, for me there needs to be alarm bells in your head. Because what was he doing before when you wasn't in his life? Was he asking people money constantly? For me, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with asking your partner for money, because obviously, like I said, you're here to support each other, you're together. But obviously, if it becomes like a constant thing, then you need to start asking questions. Questions needs to be raised, and that's just it. For me personally as well, like I said, most of the times I like to handle things myself financially, and I like to live within my means. I wouldn't like to overdo things just because obviously I'm trying to show off or I feel under peer pressure. I like to take things at my own pace and at my own time, and if I can't afford it, I have to be honest. That's why you have to be honest and say, look, I'm sorry, at this current moment I can't afford it. But some of you, because of your ego and your stubbornness and you trying to portray a certain lifestyle that you don't even live or that you don't have, you start overdoing things. For me personally, with this situation, as bad as it sounds, I think the girl should just let the money go, because it looks like the guy doesn't want to pay the money. And trust me, there are some people, if you haven't watched one of my videos about borrowing money, I'm going to put the link in the description about when I borrowed someone money. Until today, this is close to 3 years now, they still haven't paid that money. They just let it go. For me personally, let it go, move on with your life. And obviously this is a lesson for you, because if something like this happened already within your relationship and you move on to the next relationship and the same thing happens, that shows you haven't learnt. So this should be a lesson for you. I'm not saying don't give your partner money, don't borrow them money, do that, but also as well be cautious, because if it becomes continuous and it becomes constant, then that's when problems will start to be raised. Because even for you start asking questions like, yo, what's going on? Like, what's happening with this money? Because the thing about people is people always say, oh yeah, don't worry, I'll give them. But then at some point, where is their stop? So for me personally, like I said, I'll let the money go. But obviously looking at the money as well, £3,000, that's not easy money to let go. That's a lot of money. Even for me, if I was to see £3,000 right now, I'll be dancing like Michael Jackson. But trust me, in a situation like that, if you can try to get your money back, do so. But if you really try, it's not really successful, then like I said, let the money go. So that's my take on it. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 is a big one, so stay tuned. Let's go to number 2. It says a footballer or a person was playing abroad whilst his family was back in Ghana. He suspected his kids were in his and then took them for a DNA test. This result showed truly the kids were in his. He has asked for a divorce. However, the wife demanded she wanted the biggest house. She was living there at the time. So the wife was living at that house at the time, which was the biggest house, and said she won't move. Now the courts got involved. Wow, this is a very, very difficult situation. It's a very, very difficult situation. It's a difficult situation for many reasons. Number one, this guy, I don't know how many kids they've had, but this guy obviously has been paying child support, child benefit, looking after the kids, not knowing that's not his kids, which can be, as a guy, if I put myself in that situation, it can be very heartbreaking, personally. I've never been in a situation like that, but if I was, I know for sure that it's going to be very heartbreaking for me personally, because I've been looking after these kids, thinking they're my kids, or to find out that they're not my kids. There's so many things within a relationship or marriage that are very, very touchy, sensitive subjects. One of them obviously is money. The other one is DNA test, not DNA test. The other one is about property. The other one is about maybe should we take a prenup, should we not take a prenup. These things are very sensitive because generally if you're with a partner, you assume that whatever child they have for you, that's your children. But maybe if you have a child and there's no resemblance of you within those children in terms of how they look, maybe you should start having suspicion. Or maybe it's a case of maybe people just need to be more educated and not take it as, oh, because the guy asked for a DNA test, then the woman should look as if, oh wow, you don't trust me. Because this can also lead to lack of trust as well, because the woman might feel like, wow, I've been with you all this time and all of a sudden you want to do a DNA test. Like, don't you trust me? Don't you? It can be very, very tricky. So, but I think if you're both in a matured relationship and you also have nothing to hide, then I don't think a DNA test should be a big deal personally. I think it should be a case where you say to yourself, look, I'm so obviously I trust you, but I would like us to have a DNA test just to be sure. And generally, obviously, if you have nothing to hide, I'm not saying it's easy, because it's going to be a very difficult situation. It's going to be a very difficult conversation. I'm not saying it's easy, but hopefully your partner is able to understand where you're coming from. And with these day and age, where a lot of men, or some men, let me not say a lot of men, some men have been looking after kids and then they later find out that those kids are not theirs. When I look at some of those videos, it's very heart touching, it's very heartbreaking. What it looks like from here, it looks like the guy went back door to go and do a DNA test for those kids, and then he found out. I think it would have been more easier, or maybe might have taken it more different, if the woman actually came out and said, look, these kids are not yours. Then obviously he would now have to make a decision, whether do you continue fathering those kids, or do you go and give those kids to the dad itself. But obviously the situation now, which is the second part of this scenario, is the fact that she doesn't want to move out of the biggest house which she was living at the time. So remember, this guy's a football player, and as a football player they travel all around the world. Some of them, a lot of the time, they leave their family behind. But obviously, as this guy has left his family behind in Ghana and the wife is there with the kids, obviously now that he's done the DNA test and found out that those are not his kids, obviously he's basically asked her to move out of the house since they're not his kids. For some reason the woman doesn't want to move, which it can be very selfish. But then also as well, probably because the woman has lived there for so long, she's feel comfortable. Now there's a level of entitlement, because a lot of people, especially in countries such as Ghana, Nigeria, and in some other countries too, some people are very entitled. They feel like, I'm entitled to do this. And then this entitlement can lead to lack of appreciation for what the guy is actually doing, or what the girl is actually doing. So this entitlement, obviously the courts has got involved. I'm going to leave the matter to the courts, because they will be able to solve that family problem. I'm just giving my opinion. In my situation, I think for me, because they've been together for that long, and obviously the kids are also involved, I don't think it's right for the kids to suffer. Actually, I think if I was in that situation, out of my kind heart, what I would do is just, because he's a football player, so it means obviously he has a lot of money. Personally, I would just get maybe another house for her and the kids, and then I'll basically move on with my life. But it's not going to be easy to move on with your life, especially after having kids with these people, with this person, because now you have so much doubts in your head. Now the next person you're with, you start being a bit more questioning. You start questioning a lot of things, and this can lead to so many things as well. So it's not an easy situation, but that's my take on it. So let's go to the last scenario. Obviously, more people always want me to do more scenarios, but trust me, I think it's better to do 3, because it keeps that suspense and it keeps you watching as well, so that you watch other videos as well. If you like this video and you haven't subscribed and you like what I'm doing, please click the subscribe button. Keep watching your boy MrCV, and go and watch the rest of my other Wahala Wednesday videos as well, and also the content that I put out. And please share, like, subscribe, and also keep supporting your boy MrCV. Let's go to the final scenario. So the final one is, I am 24, I have a 2-year-old and dropped out of school. People keep telling me I won't be successful unless I go back to school. Can I succeed if I don't have any education? Yes, you can succeed if you don't have any education. Because first of all, education itself is the ability to read and write. So if you can read and write, you're basically educated, basically. And also, even as a teacher myself, I believe you only need primary and secondary school education, really. The rest of it is totally up to you. If you decide you want to go to college, if you decide you want to go to uni, those are great. Those are a way of furthering your education. But for me personally, primary and secondary school is all you need, because that will teach you the fundamentals of education, which is to read and to be able to write. If you have those primary and secondary education, personally, you'll be fine, really. Also, there's a notion that obviously the only way you can succeed is by going to school. Just going to school itself or having an education will not make you successful. It's what you do with the knowledge you've gained. It's how you apply this knowledge. A lot of people went to school, but they've not been successful. Reasons because they haven't applied the knowledge that they've learned. School is not going to teach you how to make money. School will give you tools that you can use to be able to make money. If you now don't apply those skills that you learn, those tools that you've learned, then of course you won't be able to make money. So me, the way I am and the way I see myself, yes, I'm an academic hustler. Now what I mean by academic hustler is academically, I'm able to push myself, which in terms of being a teacher, and hustler as well, because I don't just do one thing, which is just teaching. I do a variety of things. I'm a man of many skills, a man of many talents, jack of all trades, like some people will say. So, and for me, I believe my ability transcends beyond my educational background. That's what I believe. And for that reason, I push past my educational background, because in my mind and in my mindset, I have no limits to how far I can go. Impossibility is possible for me. So I believe I can push myself as far as I can go. That's why I don't limit myself. I don't limit my mind. I don't limit my thinking, how far I can go. I remember I was in a birthday shower last week, and someone asked me, said, what's your end goal? And I said, I don't have any end goal. My end goal is to push myself as far as I can. And for me, one of the things that I do want to do is become the first millionaire in my family. And I'm going to push it. Now, if I don't make it and become the first millionaire in my family, that doesn't mean I've failed. That doesn't mean I've not succeeded. But the ability to be able to have that mindset and push it itself is enough to make it possible. And I believe it's going to be possible. But let's go back into this, actually, as I was saying. So someone said she's a 24-year-old. She has a 2-year-old, which means she had a child at 22. She's basically been told that she can't be successful because she dropped out of school. Of course you can be successful. It depends on what you do. You can sit there and sulk and say, oh, I have a 2-year-old, my life is basically over. Or you can stand up and say, you know what, regardless of whatever situation I'm in, I'm going to push myself and I'm going to make something out of my life. And obviously a lot of the things we do, it is down to our mindset and our ability to keep going. That's just basically it. And if you have the mindset that, you know what, I can be successful regardless of the situation I'm in, it's not going to be easy, it's going to be tough, but I can do it, then I see no reason why. And what is education? Now, a lot of people think education is just going to school, going to college. No, there are different types of education. There's formal, there's non-formal, there's informal, and there is one more, I forgot. Now, with formal education is going to school, college, university, those are formal. Non-formal education could be things such as, actually, let me look for it. And let me not tell you the incorrect thing. Let me look for it. Give me a second, because I know these very well. Okay, so as I was saying, there are different types of education. So on here, first of all, it says education is the passage to progress. That's it. And like I said, for me, education will not make you successful, but it will give you the tools to allow you to be successful. But it depends on how you apply those tools. That will determine whether you've really taken what you've learned or you haven't taken what you've learned. That's number one. Like I was saying as well, there are different types of education. There's formal, informal, and non-formal education. So it says formal education or formal learning usually take place in the premises of the school, where a person learns basic and academic or trade skill. So like I was saying, formal education is like going to university, college, or school. Those are formal education. Informal education may be a parent teaching a child how to prepare a meal or ride a bicycle. So informal education is basically you learning things from your friends, from your family, from people just around you. And they said the first education basically is the one you get from home. So those are informal education. And the final one, which is non-formal education. Non-formal education includes adults' basic education, adult literacy, or school equivalent preparation. Non-formal education, someone who is not in school. So non-formal education is basically when you go to things such as seminars, events, where you're still doing learning. So you're basically not in school, but you're learning from outside. So these are three types of education. So for me, just because you didn't go to school does not mean you can't receive an education. Education is constant learning. You learn every day. I learned how to obviously make videos on YouTube. That's a learning. I didn't learn that from school. I learned that from watching YouTube videos. I learned that from practicing. So that's a learning. I talk to people. I spoke to people. I watch other people's videos. That's all learning. So when you take all these learning, like I said, no matter which learning you do, these are just tools for you to help you succeed. When it comes to being successful as well, that is very different for different people. To a lot of people, I am very successful because of a lot of things I've achieved, because of the way I carry myself, because of how I am. People say I'm very successful. On one level, yeah, sometimes I do feel like I'm very successful. Depending on where I've come from, how far I've been, yes, of course. But also, on another level, I don't think I am that successful because I have the ability to do more. So success for different people means different things. And it depends. You have to define what success means to you. If last year you was earning 24,000, this year you're earning 40,000, to some people that's successful. To others, that's not successful because maybe they've earned 60,000 and they think, oh, what's 40,000? So for me, success is different for different people. So and you have to define what success means to you. So like I said, it's your boy MrCV. I'm back again on Wahala Wednesday. Stay tuned. We've got more scenarios for you. Also, if you have any problems that you want me to give my thoughts on, or you like just what I do, drop it in the comment section, or just send me an email on my email in the description, and definitely I can give my thoughts and opinion and how I truly feel, because a lot of the time people don't want to hear the honest truth. People just want to hear certain things just because to feed their ego, and I don't think that's what I stand for. I'm a person that stands for the truth. I'm a person that try and be as objective as possible. So it's your boy MrCV. Let me not take your time. Have a fantastic day and take care.